to be clear, our government is so illegitimate, so wicked, so duplicitous, that it literally has fostered, in many cases created, radical Muslim groups whose moronic followers, in many cases, don't even know they're dancing to the tune of the Pied Piper of Western intelligence. Or they're being funded to carry out attacks through their chain of command by the very great Satan they claim they're fighting. And nowhere is this better illustrated than the fact that the Taliban and Al-Qaeda were flown out to safety in the months during the, quote, invasion out of Afghanistan in late 2001, early 2002. And that's all on record. And it's also on record that in the months before 9/11, the BBC and other British news organizations reported that U.S. Special Forces were seen on the border region of Pakistan and Afghanistan in a small town, naming it guarding Osama bin Laden. And that a month before that, Le Figaro and other big papers in France reported he was at the American hospital in Dubai getting dialysis. And then Bandar Bush, the big buddy of the Bush family, the ambassador to the United States from Saudi Arabia, on Larry King Live 1 week after the attacks. You can pull this video up on YouTube. And Larry King Live was calling, the host of it, Larry King was calling bin Laden a coward. And Bandar said, how dare you call him a coward? He's not a coward. He is comes from a great family and is a great man. Because they knew that CNN was aired in Saudi Arabia, and the family's like, look, our son's CIA, he'll play the bad guy for you, he'll be a big hero here in the Muslim, 80% Sunni country. But don't you talk bad about our son who's playing this part for you. And Bandar said, you do not talk about him that way. In front of you. That's how dumb they think you are. They won't even talk bad about Osama bin Laden in front of Bandar Bush. That's his nickname, Prince Bandar of Saad. Bandar Saad. His name's about, 14 names long? The House of Saad. 100-plus years ago, British intel gives a bunch of hand grenades and machine guns to one Bedouin group and says, run around and take over all these cities, and we'll give you the power. We'll set up a country for you. And what did the Saad say? Ooh, rah. You're going to name this whole desert after the House of Saad? You bet we're a warlike Bedouin tribe out for hire. And the British also, 110 years ago roughly, needed a group to help build some canals. Who was the biggest construction family in the area? British intel for over 100 years? The bin Ladens. I mean, folks, everything is in history, hidden in plain view. Who did Lawrence of Arabia work with? The Saads and the bin Ladens. The Saads and the bin Ladens. Do you know who Osama bin Laden is? He's British intel. For at least 6 generations, serving the New World Order and serving them well. That's why, in the 5 years after 9/11, the United States more than tripled its contracts to over $10 billion in one fiscal year alone, in one of those years, to the House of bin Laden. Who builds the U.S. military bases? The bin Ladens. Who gets the U.S. satellite deals? The bin Ladens. Who were honored guests of the State Department? The bin Ladens. Who got flown out to safety in the week after 9/11 when all their air traffic was grounded, the day and the day after 9/11? The bin Ladens. The bin Ladens, precious members of British intel. Precious, precious, honored members. Oh, they couldn't have done it without them. Oh, thank you. You always come through. Who air-conditioned all of Mecca with giant outdoor air conditioners? Outdoor air conditioning. The Bin Ladens. Who builds the U.S. military bases? Who builds the Green Zone? The Bin Ladens. Who builds the Israeli bases? The Bin Ladens. Oh, the Bin Ladens are so good. But I'm not supposed to talk about them. I'm supposed to shut up, aren't I? Aren't I?